This week on Vaticano, an American priest receives a rare and special honor at St. Peter's Basilica. At his weekly audience, Pope Benedict XVI invites the faithful to seek the face of God. Meanwhile, the Catholic Near East Welfare Foundation continues its great work through the Eastern churches. The Rosary is the substance of a Year of Faith initiative broadcast live every weekday from St. Peter's Square. During the Angelus, the Pope urges prayers for peace and the unity of Christians. In other Rome news, the Pope blesses a pair of lambs with an important future. Vatican's charity department hosts a summit, and a top Vietnamese official makes a historic visit to the apostolic palace. All this and a blessing for animals on the feast of St. Anthony Abbot coming up. The U.S. again has a priest among the canons of St. Peter's Basilica. It had been 50 years since the last American was in the chapter of canons. Monsignor Francis Kelly became the third U.S.-born priest to enter the exclusive group on January 20th. His bishop friends and family were all there to see him receive the new appointment.
The canon is a senior priest who's especially mandated to be the responsible for and lead the church's worship in St. Peter's Basilica.
It happened during this truly intimate event led by the head of St. Peter's Basilica, Cardinal Angelo. Ceremonially, Monsignor took up his post in the chapel of the canons along with his colleagues. Meanwhile, the cardinal called the canon to always remember the vows he has made.
I know that you are also celebrating the 50th anniversary of your priestly ordination. I give you my heartfelt congratulations for marking the happy circumstance. This 50th anniversary, we could say, in some way is the celebration of fidelity. Fidelity is nothing but maintaining for your entire life the commitment of the yes you pronounced in your youth.
So that means the 76-year-old Monsignor will be leaving the halls of his residence called the Casa Santa Maria. For 8 years, he has been the superior here for U.S. priests studying in Rome. He'll have a new schedule as he takes up residence at the Vatican as the Basilica's newest canon.
The canon is kind of a senior priest who is especially responsible for the sacred liturgy that is celebrated in St. Peter's Basilica. So every Sunday at 10:30 in the morning we have the Solemn High Mass, which is quite a beautiful and extended celebration of the Eucharist, preceded by a procession up the main aisle of St. Peter's to the altar of the chair where these liturgies take place. And then in the evening at 5, we have Solemn Vespers, the evening prayer of the church. So the canon's ministry is especially focused on prayer and worship. And each of us in our turn is the leader of those services and the preacher for them. And the other Sundays we assist and lead the prayers, singing, and so forth. So it's especially a ministry of prayer and worship. And in that context, I would say intercession and petition, so that the example I've used with people is sort of like being a secular monk. So our job is to pray for the church, for the world, for all people, especially people in need, and spiritual and human need. And so that's expressed especially in those two great services every Sunday and all the major feast days.
He also marked the diamond anniversary of his priestly ordination the same weekend. It was a chance to look back on his service to the church.
The priesthood is the most fulfilling, satisfying, rewarding life experience that anyone could have. I used to tell the seminarians, you're in a great place because you're caught between God's love for his people and his people's love for God, and you're in the middle. It's a nice place to be. And so you have the opportunity to bring God's love to so many people through the sacraments, through sacrament of reconciliation, confession, through Mass, communion, the key moments of people's lives, their marriages, deaths, sicknesses, and so forth, and then the constant presence and sharing with them every Sunday. So as I look back, I am just so grateful to God that I am very conscious of a vocation, that it was God who chose me. I didn't choose this. From the time I was an adolescent, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So all I can share with your viewers is that a wonderful testimony that the priesthood is the most extraordinary adventure and privilege and satisfying lifestyle that anyone could be called to.
Monsignor will make the move over the Vatican as soon as he's replaced at the Casa Santa Maria. Pope Benedict XVI met with these thousands of faithful during the general audience on January 16. He called them to seek the light in the face of Christ.
Dear brothers and sisters, during the Christmas season, we celebrate the mystery of the Incarnation as a culmination of God's gradual self-revelation to Israel, a revelation mediated by those great figures such as Moses and the prophets, who kept alive the expectation of God's fulfillment of his promises. Jesus, the Word made flesh, is truly God among us, the mediator in the fullness of all revelation. In him the ancient blessing is fulfilled. God has made his face to shine upon us. As the incarnate Son, the one mediator between God and man, Jesus does not simply speak to us about God. He shows us the very face of God and enables us to call him our Father. As he says to the Apostle Philip, whoever has seen me has seen the Father, may our desire to see the Lord's face grow through our daily encounter with him in prayer, in meditation on his word, and in the Eucharist, and thus prepare us to contemplate forever the light of his countenance in the fullness of his eternal kingdom. Il desiderio di conoscere Dio realmente, cioè di vedere.
The desire to truly know God, that is, to see the face of God, is inherent to every human being, including atheists. Perhaps we also unconsciously have this desire to simply see who he is, what he is, and who he is for us. But this desire is fulfilled in following Christ, and thus we finally see God as a friend. What is important is that we follow Christ not only when we need him, or when we find a minute of time among our thousands of daily tasks, but also with our lives as such. Our entire existence must be directed toward meeting Jesus Christ, toward love for him. In such an existence, love for neighbor must take a central position. That love that, in light of the crucifix, allows us to recognize the face of Jesus in the poor, the weak, and in those who are suffering.
Benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus.
Welcome back. You're watching Vaticano.
There's now a daily rosary being broadcast to the world from St. Peter's. Every weekday, there's a new group sharing prayers for Mary's intercession with others around the globe.
A Moment with Mary is first and foremost a mission of prayer dedicated to our Blessed Mother Mary. And basically we, every day, from Monday to Friday, throughout the whole of the year of faith, we say the Holy Rosary live on St. Peter's Square. And it's basically, the idea was to reply to the call of the Holy Father for the year of faith, to entrust ourselves to the Blessed Virgin and to pray the Rosary every day. So this is what we're trying to do. And also through new evangelization, we try to bring this prayer to people through the new media technologies, through the social networks and through the new technology Google+. So we really want to bring prayer to the people and to enable the people to all around the world to bring themselves closer to the heart of the Church. And it's basically, it's also a personal moment each day. It's a daily appointment with Mary, basically. We're just inviting people to take half an hour out of their day and to join us in prayer.
El primo misterio glorioso, la resurrección de Jesús, the first glorious mystery, the resurrection.
By way of the live feed through the website of Aletheia, people can join in from anywhere in real time.
Each day we have a different group, mainly of youth, but also of people from all walks of life and from all states of life, from different movements, communities, parishes, dioceses, from all over the world. And each day they come to animate this prayer, to lead us in this prayer. They bring the World Youth Day cross every day, as well as the icon of the Maria Populus Romani. And they animate their prayer in their own way, in their own charism. And this Rosary is also international, so each group is invited to pray in their mother tongue language. So we've seen a whole array of different languages so far, and then everybody responds in Latin. So the people that are following us through Telepace or through the web can join in with the responses in Latin.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed...
On this particular day, deacons from Minnesota's St. Paul's Seminary were on hand to lead it.
The Rosary is a devotional prayer that developed in the Church to increase our devotion to the Blessed Mother, but more importantly, that she can lead us to Jesus Christ. So we have 5 mysteries that change, but ultimately every one of those mysteries is rooted in Christ. So this is a meditation to help us grow closer to Christ through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So it's repetitive, but it's also soothing, and it's supposed to be a comfort to us who come to be under her mantle and to really grow in relationship with her Son. So is it a hard prayer? No, but it's one that grows deeper and deeper the more you pray it.
For those interested in joining in, the website is rosary.aletheia.org. The televised weekday Rosary from St. Peter's will continue throughout this year until the conclusion of the Year of Faith this November.
I work in Kerak in the south of Jordan. It's the poorest area of Jordan in the south, on the road to Petra. It's a desertic area, and there is a hospital, no-profit hospital, Italian one, and it's 70 years that we are working there, running the hospital as a Comboni Sisters. It's a very, very poor area, so we are covering area from Tafile till Dead Sea. So that means that around 300,000 people there, and 3% of the population is a Christian. We face many problems because it's a no-profit institution, and we are receiving everybody. We don't make any discrimination. We welcome everybody, even the one who doesn't have money. So that is our aim. We believe it to be a bridge between peoples, between religions, and that is our aim. But at the same time, it's very difficult because the increasing people of poorest is demanding us. So now we are facing even Syrian people, refugees in the south, that are not covered from agency because the refugees camp are in the north. And for this reason, we have 10,000 people Syrian in the south.
The Jordanian Hospital Administrator is just one of the beneficiaries of the support of the Catholic Near East Welfare Association. Knewa, as it's called, works with the Vatican's Congregation for Eastern Churches to support Christian initiatives throughout places in need.
Our work is okay. It's a no-profit hospital, small one, but mainly our job is to cooperate with our people. We have 80 employees, almost Muslim, to create something new where ethical values, Christian values are the basic for even in the health system. So we are taking care of everybody without discrimination, and that is something new. Even after 70 years, it's still new. And that is our aim, the reason why we are there. Because it's a not-profit institution, I don't have financially money to buy medical equipment, so Kenewa is helping us in that. Because we have to be up to the standard and the request from the Minister of Health. But at the same time, because we want a no-profit institution open to everybody, we cannot afford to buy medical equipment. So Kenewa is helping us very much in these things. So that is why they invite me to participate to this meeting. What we are asking is just to help us, to help others. That's all.
Undertakings like that of the 40-bed hospital in Jordan wouldn't be able to save the lives they do without the help of this Catholic organization.
I would say we would try to reflect what our Holy Father, Pope Benedict, shared in his visit to Lebanon, where he shared with the world his exhortation on the church in the Middle East and on the situation there. And that is, the church will always accompany you. The church always is a proponent of peace and of hope. And I think now some people that maybe don't have faith, or their faith has been greatly challenged, that might come with difficulty to accept or understand that. But the Pope didn't waver, and he hasn't ever since then. And that message is radiating. I think even as was pointed out by some of our regional directors, it is even radiating with some of the Muslim authorities and the mullahs and so forth, that we have to elevate our people where nothing else makes sense, where there is no other ray of hope, and there's no other sign of peace, that we want to be that. And the Holy Father, as I described it in a presentation the other day, this humble man, frail now, dressed in white, for 3 days in Lebanon. And this was a representation from all over the Middle East, of all religious backgrounds, all cultural backgrounds. For 3 days, not only was there peace in otherwise a very tumultuous area, but there was even some hope. And that's what we always want to. We want to work to demonstrate that also.
Welcome back. You're watching Vaticano.
Here in St. Peter's Square, Pope Benedict XVI prayed the Sunday Angelus prayer with pilgrims from around the world. He tied the wedding feast at Cana, when Jesus turned water into wine, into the week of prayer for Christian unity.
Il vino è simbolo di questa gioia dell'amore.
The wine is a symbol of joy and love, but it also alludes to the blood that Jesus will shed in the end to seal his nuptial pact with humanity. The Church is the bride of Christ, made holy and beautiful through his grace. Nevertheless, this bride, formed by human beings, is always in need of purification. One of the most serious sins that disfigure the face of the Church is the one against her visible unity, particularly the historical divisions that have separated Christians and that still have not been overcome. The week of prayer for Christian unity is taking place in these days, a very welcome time for believers and communities, which awakens the desire for and spiritual commitment to achieving full union.
This year, the theme of the Week of Prayer is What Does the Lord Require of Us? The petition was proposed by a group of Indian Catholics hoping for an end to discrimination in their country that continues despite the abolition of the caste system. This professor at Rome's Gregorian University is very aware of the challenges they face.
Caste system, unfortunately, does exist among the Christians. It is a salient feature, And all those restrictions that have been there are falling apart now, but they are still there. Like the social intercourse, like marriages and so on, they'll be somehow saying for their brides and bridegrooms from the same castes, like the same segment. It is very rare that somebody will go out of that segment and get married to somebody else. That is there also. So the Indian society is divided. Indian Christian society is divided, unfortunately, on the basis of caste, not only on caste, and also on the region, from which region they come. This week of prayer, I would hope that the Christians themselves realize that we are Christians and we are one. We should be united. There should not be any division among us on the basis of the caste system that exists in the society. We should give up that. We should give up that. And we should really be like Christians, you see, as somebody who follows Christ and who are all equal in the eyes of God. You see, that I would like that comes about.
The Week of Prayer for Christian Unity ran this year from January 19th to the 27th. This week, the Vatican saw the yearly tradition of the blessing of the lambs on the feast of St. Agnes. These two young sheep, adorned for the celebration of the Roman Virgin and Martyr, received the Pope's blessing. Their wool will be used this summer for a special vestment called a pallium. It's a garment given to the newest metropolitan archbishops of the world every June 29th. Pope Benedict also met with members of the Pontifical Council Cor Unum. It is the Vatican department that distributes the Holy Father's charitable contributions in times of need. They also oversee Catholic charities in the world like Catholic Relief Services and Catholic Charities USA. The meeting came on the final day of a series of meetings on charity, Christian anthropology, and global ethics. The Pope told them, quote, "The Christian vision of humanity is a great yes to the dignity of the person who is called to an intimate communion with God," end quote. He also urged them to reject so-called gender philosophies and other ideologies of the modern age that might lead them astray of this vision. Also, in a landmark encounter, Benedict XVI became the first pope ever to meet with the General Secretary of Vietnam's Communist Party. According to the Holy See's official statement, both sides expressed hope that some situations may be resolved and that the existing fruitful cooperation may be strengthened. Insiders hope that it would result in more concrete action for Vietnamese Catholics who can't practice their religion in public. But despite the friendly encounter, the Holy See still doesn't have full diplomatic relations with Vietnam. Every January 17th, the Feast of St. Anthony Abbot draws animals and their owners out into Italian squares for a blessing. The Pius XII Square, just outside St. Peter's, is no exception.
St. Anthony is the protector of the animals. So there is Italian breeders are very confident in this, very traditional, and they are happy to be there to have this meeting, because the feeling of the breeders is just to be grateful to St. Anthony for the animals and so on. I mean, this is a Catholic tradition. So we are a country in which tradition is very important.
In addition to a Mass in St. Peter's Basilica, to which only the livestock owners were invited, there was a horse parade, and later a blessing for the animals.
Isaac Newton, who was a great scientist, who in particular studied gravity on Earth, one day wrote, "When at night I lift my eyes and look to the sky and think of the beauty that's before me and how many stars are above us, I think of the immensity of the galaxy. When I think that the distances of space are measured in millions of miles, and when I look at creation on Earth, like flowers, animals, and plants, I'm so impressed, and I think one must be blind not to see the author, and crazy not to adore him. We're here today because we want to be people who see and recognize this beauty that God has made. We invoke His blessing to be worthy to live with this creation by respecting it.
Che la benedizione di Dio Onnipotente, Padre e Figlio e Spirito Santo discenda su di voi e con voi rimanga sempre.
And with that, men and animals alike receive the Cardinal's blessing.